Going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing. If we earned that subscription today, please hit the red subscribe bar down below. I want each and every one of you to remember that even if you're having a rough day today, that tomorrow will be a better day. You will get through whatever you're going through today. Here at Tully Television, I hope that we can be an escape for you and come together as a community. That's my goal here. That's our goal here. Um, if you come in peace, we will have you come and be a peaceful, happy community, right, guys? But today, I want to get into Uncanny X-Men number 12. Got myself the little Gambit cover here. Now, before we get into the review here, it's basically wrapping up the first year of this run written by Gail Simone. The artist for this particular issue is Gavin Guidry. The colorist is Matthew Wilson. And the cover is done by David Marquez. Now, we've had two major, multi-part stories in this series so far, and then two or three issues were crossover events that were happening. The search for Charles Xavier, the raid on Grey Malkin, right? And this particular issue is going to be, in a sense, a standalone issue also. I guess really the first standalone issue that's not part of a bigger story, whether within the series or crossing over. And it deals with Gambit's past, okay? Before he joined the Thieves Guild, this story takes place between current time and him remembering his childhood, again, before he became a member of the Thieves Guild. And we start with Rogue waking up from a dream and feeling a bit guilty about what happened with the training session from last issue, where Gambit had thrown a cog into the a wrench into the cog, so to speak, during the training session they were attempting to do with our four outlier mutants here, right? Jitter, Death Dream, Ransom, Calico. And the training got a little out of hand, and Jitter kind of got banged up and roughed up a little bit. Excuse me. And we realize that Rogue is feeling a bit guilty about that, but we also see Jitter here getting back out there and training and trying her best to not let that ruffle her feathers and become stronger and better for the team and for herself. And she's not the only one out there. We got our other three here, Ransom, Death Dream, and Calico, rooting her on during this training session. And Rogue winds up coming out. Some of the narration is done by Gambit because, this is kind of more from his perspective, so to speak. We see how raw Jitter's hands have been from all the training, nonstop, calloused, bruised, battered. And Rogue apologizes to Jitter for what had happened during the training session. We find out that Gambit had apologized to Jitter the night before and had requested that she give Rogue a little bit more time to come to her senses, and she will apologize too, which is exactly what happened. Whether you are a fan of the Gambit-Rogue relationship, it's been going on for many decades now, on and off, and if anyone knows Rogue, Gambit's certainly up there as one of the people that know her inside and out. They've been through a lot. And basically, breakfast is called, and all the kids get ready to go eat. Also, Death Dream here wants to train in boxing and wants Ransom to help him because he feels like, yes, with his mutant abilities, he's an asset to the team. But what happens when you are in a hand-to-hand situation and you can't necessarily use your powers? You have to have some sort of fallback, some way of defending yourself. Here, we finally get into the crux of the story. This character, the Fig, is requesting Remy's appearance, and this is when we get into Gambit's past as a child. Again, this was before he had the ability to join the Thieves Guild and was being bullied by some kids and getting his butt whipped. Now, this is when we come across Mr. Fig here, and he works for Remy's father in the Thieves Guild. He's like the hired muscle, a big gun, so to speak. And he kind of asks Remy why, he's not fighting back. Remy explains to him that if he fights back before he becomes a member of the Thieves Guild, there's nothing that's going to be able to protect him because the bullies are part of the Assassin's Guild. And as we know from Gambit's past, there's always been a rivalry, a tension between the two guilds. And if Remy's not a member of one guild or the other, and he causes problem for the rival faction, so to speak, he more likely will get taken out than as opposed to being protected by being a member of the guild. That's the thought process on why he isn't fighting back. But Mr. Fig says that if I promise to be your alibi, I'll tell you where those children are at, and you can go kick their butt. And that's exactly what Remy does. He realizes that he's free to react the way he wants to react. And then after Remy beats them up, they meet. Mr. Fig and him meet for sandwiches. And the father of one of the bullies comes and wants to get his hands on Remy. But Mr. Fig protects him, and he takes those people out too. But how we come across Gambit's connection to the Haven Safe House is that Gambit was told about this place by a character by the name of Tanti Maddie, person from his past, and he asks for shelter, basically, but of course he's got to work for his, plate and board. Of course, you got to contribute, and we find out that those 4 gangsters, the adult ones, were taken out by Mr. Fig. And we also realize that why he wound up doing this, Mr. Fig, so to speak. When he gets a hold of Gambit finally, the deal was, he calls Gambit while he's at the safe house as a child, and tells him basically, now that everything is settled and fixed, your payment to me is going to be 25% of everything you own, or steal and stuff like that, for the rest of your life. And we find out that Rogue is not wanting him to go, and I like how he's kind of got a look semi-reptilian here. And we find out that why Mr. Fig has come back crawling is that he's heard rumors about the 4 mutants that Gambit and them have at the Haven House. And being that he's owed 25% of everything that Gambit has, he wants one of the children. Doesn't matter which one, but he wants one of them. And of course, Gambit denies the deal, finds out that Mr. Fig set up the whole thing with getting bullied as a kid and this and that, so Remy will stay in his pocket and keep giving to him, giving to him, giving to him. So he set up the whole process, and of course Gambit and him get into a fist fight, in which Gambit puts a whole pack of playing cards in his suit jacket there, charges him up full blast, and basically takes him out. And we find out that the one of the children that got beat up by Remy when they were children, that he finds out that Mr. Fig is the person who took out his father when the father came knocking, looking for Remy back all those years ago. And Remy got a hold of him and told him that, and find out that it was Mr. Fig that was the problem, setting up the whole thing. And now he let the kid know, at now an adult, where he's at, and that he's the one that killed his father. So be prepared to go bye-bye, so to speak, right? Now that the Assassin's Guild is looking for you. And as Gambit comes back, he winds up making a crawfish boil and talks about everything that he has that he's grateful for. He's got a girlfriend that he loves, great friends, even if Nightcrawler drinks crappy beer or whatever. He's got the kids to try to teach about life in the upcoming, and everything is grand and happy at the moment. And these are the moments that you're supposed to be taking in and remembering during the hard times. And then the last page here is, I want to, hold on a minute, because I closed my notes before. There's this character by the name of Mackenzie Denier, who's meeting with the New Orleans mayor and wants to hold a meeting over the mutants that are there, Rogue and the team, at the Haven House. Now, I'm sure we'll find out in the coming issues what that's all about. So only time will tell. This was a pretty decent read overall. It gave us a little lore on Gambit. It was, like I said, just a standalone issue. Nothing too major outside of an introduction to a couple new characters. The lady that's meeting the mayor and Mr. Fig. The Fig is a reference to a mafioso term, even though they don't exist. Which means that if I lend you money, you have to pay me a fig, which means if I lend you 10,000, it's like basically insurance. Interest will occur for me, and if you don't pay that interest, well, allegedly, the mob who doesn't exist will do something to you. I don't know. Don't come after me, Costa Nostra. But the issue was pretty decent. Again, I kind of like to see where the future issues are heading to and where it's going to tie in to now, I guess, what the mayor is going to get talked to about, and are things going to get political against our mutant team there in Louisiana? Only time will tell. I want to thank you again for stopping by. Let me know what you think of this issue. And until next time, peace, Nickums.